blessing. Now, Luke 24, listen to this. Verse 1, but on the first day of the week, early at dawn, they came to the tomb, bringing the spices which they prepared. Now, here's the story. Mary, his mom, is standing in John chapter 20. She's standing there watching her boy die. Jesus, from the cross, looks down at his mother and says, woman, behold your son. Son, behold your mother, talking to John. And the Bible says, and she left from that hour and stayed with John. So Jesus commissioned, now here's what's interesting. He did not commission his brothers to take care of his mother. Jesus had half-brothers. He didn't commission them because they're not there at the crucifixion. As a matter of fact, to the best of our ability, everybody had tucked tail and ran, and it's his mother and John and several other women that are there in the cross. And so Jesus looks down, it's a whole other message in itself, but he looks down and he picks John, and he says to John, look at your mother, and woman, behold your son. And the Bible says that Mary went to stay and live with him, and intimates from the story that she left there. John took her before he actually bowed his head and died, because he didn't want his mother seeing the final moments of his grief. So it says from that hour she stayed with him and left. Now, God picks out this 15-year-old to raise Jesus. And all of her life, you know, it had to be a trial to raise the kid. When you're raising God, that in of itself is comical. I'm sure the brothers came in every day. Mom, Jesus is doing it again. We're playing hide and go seek. We never can find him. He just keeps going invisible. We can't ever, you got to tell him to stop doing that God thing. It's no fair. And you know they tried to use his godlike powers like, hey, come here. What, James? Come here, Jesus. A big. What? Okay, now you know Salome. Yeah, I know her. Okay, look. Listen, we got the camel dance next week. I just need you to just do something. Like wave a hand over and make her go with me. Oh, I can't do that. Yeah, you can. You're God. You can do anything you want. I tell you what, just make me float by her. Can you make me float? Will you just let me just float in front of her while I ask her to the camel dance? I mean, you got to know, I got beat up by my brother who's just a natural brother. I mean, could you imagine if you were the brother of God? I mean, you're going to milk it for all it's worth. You're probably going to pick on him some. Yeah, I bet you think you're all that, don't you? And, oh, just because you made money come out of a fish's mouth don't make you God, you know. I mean, they probably had all kind of little things going on in the family. But in reality, we get to the crucifixion and something strange happens because Mama has raised him. Go back to the Christmas story. Gabriel gave her the word. Mama raised him. And now she's standing there watching her boy die, watching her boy's last breath. He dies. They bury him in a borrowed tomb. They roll the stone over. And in Luke 24, they come back. Some manuscripts say that Mary didn't come, and others say she did because there were like 3 Marys there. But listen to this. On the first day of the week, early at dawn, they came to the tomb, verse 1, Luke 24:1. Bringing spices which they had prepared. Now, here's the lessons I want to teach you about how to live in culture so that your expectations don't meet culture, but you live above and beyond it for you and your wife and your husband, as a mother, as a father, and as a child. It said they came to bring spices because they had prepared. Now watch this. The problem is they prepared for the wrong thing. They prepared to find a body, but there's no body. So lesson number 1, it is possible to spend your life and energy preparing for the wrong things and never really teach what needs to be taught to this generation. You go to college, you go to work, you cook, you do laundry, you mow grass, you're preparing, you're doing all the things. But know this, just because you're good and busy doesn't mean that you're prepared for the right things. And just because you help your kids with homework doesn't mean they're going to be prepared for the right things. And just because you ground them all the time doesn't mean they're going to be prepared for the right things. And just because you take their cell phone and their iPads away and you turn their Facebook off and you've disciplined them and you feel better as a father and a mother that you've disciplined and you did what should have been done to you and you guard them like a mother hen would guard them, just because you guard them doesn't mean they're going to be prepared. Because my job that I can learn from Mary is, it is possible to live 33 years with a guy, hearing every word he said about dying and crucifixion and resurrection, and get all the way to the end, and everything he taught you, you show up to the tomb, and instead of expecting there to be a resurrection, you show up with burial spices, because the very thing you should be expecting, resurrection, you're not. You're expecting burial and dead. Let's just anoint the body. And so 33 years spent preparing for the wrong thing. What was it that she couldn't go? Well, wait a minute, that's my kid. Wait a minute, Gabriel appeared to me. Wait a minute, he was the Son of God. I'm not taking spices to anoint him. Women, he's not even going to be there. He's going to rise from the dead, just like he told us, in 3 days. But no, she goes all prepared. And here's the sad part, lesson 1. She's prepared, she's just prepared for the wrong thing.